guys, Steve02 here, back with another episode of my custom mobs tutorial. Today we'll be doing K-9. There are two items associated with them, the robot building instructions and the K-9 controller. So the instructions will spawn him in. Greetings, I am K-9, your robot dog companion. Are you my master? Yes, we are, but not yet. Because he's not tamed yet, because he does work off basically wolf AI. He does actually like turn as he moves around, which is nice, even though he's made of falling blocks. And that's a system I've also applied to the Dalek, but I'll show you how that works later on. So then, the problem with K-9 is you couldn't tame him with like a bone or something, just because the hitbox is obscured by the falling blocks. So I'm trying to hit him, nothing's happening, and if I tried to tame him, nothing would happen either. So how do we do that? Well, we can use this K-9 controller, and if we use that, I am your friend, master. And basically he's now tamed to us, so yeah, he'll follow us, teleport to us, the usual. The trade-off there is that because of the way it works, I can't make him sit or stand. You can do that with commands. There's a tag you can apply to him, which is like sitting :1B. But obviously the problem, well, no, not obvious, but the problem with that is I tried tying it to the same item, and it kinda just didn't work. I really can't do anything short of making it like 3 separate items, and at that point I have like 4 items related to K-9, which is a bit much. He does have advantages over your average wolf. He is faster, as you can see. He has a little speed effect. He also has strength and resistance, so he's a bit more effective probably at fighting mobs. Obviously it's a little tough to heal him, but I'll figure out a way to heal him and make him sit and stand in the future, but for now, this is what I have. So how is all this done? Well, let's head into the TARDIS. I don't think he'll be able to teleport with us, sadly. Nope. So he's just gonna be waiting for us outside, I suppose. Okay, so how is all this done? Well, the basic controls would be right in here. And for the spawn item, for the robot building instructions, it's basically the same thing we've seen before. Basically, just execute if someone is holding the item in question, which in their offhand, which is the robot building instructions, piece of paper, and if so, it'll just summon the wolf at that exact same player, wolf with the name K-9, and then it will clear from that same player, clear that exact item, so basically just the same thing again, paper with the name, robot building instructions, it'll clear one of those from their inventory, basically to simulate the item being used. And then finally, you got the little message from K-9, it's just executing as K-9, otherwise it's just a message. We'll get to how the head and the tail work for the directional stuff. And then these are just adding some effects to them, like invisibility for basically infinity. Resistance, it's a low level of resistance. You can make it higher if you want it to be stronger. Same with the speed, and same with the strength. Okay, then this one is for the K-9 controller. So we are executing if there's an entity holding that copper ingot in their offhand slots, K-9 controller, and unless the entity name equals K-9, tag equals tamed exists. I don't think that matters too much, but it does add, thus executing at that same player with the copper run tag at E name equals K-9, sword equals nearest, limit equals 1, add tamed. The tag I don't think matters. You could probably just take that out and this here. That was part of me testing the sitting, which as I saw it said it didn't really work. But execute as at E name equals K-9, run say I am your friend master, and then okay, this is the part that actually tames him, so execute at that same player with the copper ingot in their offhand, run data modify entity name equals K-9, blah blah blah, and then owner, so we'll set their owner data, set from entity, and then the same entity holding the copper ingot, UUID. So basically the UUID is your unique user ID, which is kind of like your player name, I suppose. And basically, it is getting that information from the player who's holding the K-9 controller as such, and putting that in the owner tag of K-9, basically. And that's how you tame him, basically. The final thing I'd say is just getting these kind of directional stuff to work, where he'll actually turn to face you, because the Dalek, as of the last video on it, didn't do that, and K-9 does. And you can use the same system for the Dalek, as I said. So come on, K-9, let's go show how that works, because that's actually not down here, because I'm a not very organized person. Okay, so the system for this is actually underground. It doesn't really have to be, but it is. And here's the one for the Dalek, but I'm going to show you today the one for K-9. It's basically exactly the same. So this is a teeny bit complex. So basically we have the 4 kind of cardinal directions which K-9 can face. And basically what I am doing is execute if entity name equals K-9, and then you got like a range of Y rotations, and Y actually in this case means X, like turning around like this, not Y as in like up and down. I don't know why it's Y, but it is. We've got a range from 180 degrees to 279 degrees, and that's just limit equals what, sort equals nearest, and then it's basically the same thing in all 4 of these, just different ranges. So east is 180 to 279, south 280 to 9, it would be 280 or like 270 to 0 or something, but you can't get the numbers to be like exactly on the dot where they would be, because it like overlaps sometimes and you don't want K-9 having 2 heads. So I kind of left a bit of a gap there. Same here, we have from 10 to 119 on the west, and lastly on the north we have 120 to 179, just so you know what the ranges are for each direction. And then these 3 command blocks for each of these, which I've labeled as perfect just from my testing, basically they all do the same thing, just in different directions, kind of like this. So for example, let's just take east, and it's summoning some falling blocks at K-9, and in this case it appears to be the stone stairs that make up his head, and basically just where they are, that is what's going to change for each direction mostly. So 0.5 out on the x-axis and 0.7 on the y. And then another important thing is the properties facing west, just so that the stairs are facing the right way, and that they're sticking out of the right side. So those are the 2 parts that you're going to want to change for each of the commands. And the same thing for these sides. It's the same thing, just on a different positioning, and the stairs are obviously facing north, except it says south, but it's the right thing. So, and then these other 2 are for this end rod, I believe makes up his tail. Yes, and that's at 0.25 on the Y. The Y remains unchanged in all these, I believe, but it's this X and Z that you're going to want to change. You would like, so this was the east, and for, say, for example, the west, you'd basically just change this to positive. And then for the others, north and south, you'd just make it on the z-axis instead, basically. So play around with those until you get all your directions right, basically. And then finally, we have that it's a red nether brick wall that actually makes up his eye. And again, just getting the positioning right on that. Again, the Y stays the same, and you're just changing around this X. You'd make it negative for the opposite, or you'd make it on the Z for the other one, and then otherwise it's basically just the same thing. And yeah, same thing all around on all 4 of these, just with your different coordinates and different directions on the stairs, and I guess on the end rod too. And then what are these here? These are actually those stone slabs that kind of form the base at the bottom of him. So let's go ahead and summon a K-9, just so you can see. Got those 4 at the bottom, and looks like the tail in one direction is a little too low. That's an error on my part. But we got our 4 slabs, and then we got this slab, which is, as you can see, that's the one that's 0.5, so it's higher than the others in the center. But yeah, that's everything down here, and I believe that is everything just as a whole. And obviously, like I said, you can repeat this exact same thing for the Dalek to give it its directional stuff, and there we go. And if you wanted to see him, I guess, fighting a mob, we can do that. Let's spawn as a zombie, I suppose. I guess it's daytime, the zombie's gonna burn. That's fine. We hit it, it's gonna come after us. Oh, he's on fire now, but he does have that resistance effect, so he's probably fine. Again, I will probably think of a way to make him able to sit and stand in the future, as well as a way to heal him, but for now, this is what I have for K-9. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. As I said, this has been K-9 made in Minecraft, and that's all. I've been Tebow2. Be sure to subscribe, to follow my Instagram, Tebow2IT, to follow my Twitter, which is also Tebow2IT, to join my Discord, and lastly, to have a nice day. Goodbye.